it's Lisa. I'm making a bunch of thank you cards, and I'm starting my card base with some Sahara Sand cardstock and this wood grain stamp from Stamping Up. It's a background stamp with a Tim Holtz stamp press, and just going over that, I think probably with the same Sahara Sand ink. I did this quite some time ago, so I don't remember for sure, but the stamp press lets you go over it multiple times, which is really nice. And I don't need the middle to come out good because I'm going to be putting something over that middle. You're only going to see a little bit of the background. What I want to illustrate here is how I'm using the Distress inks on different backgrounds. The one on the left there is white background and the colors come out really vibrant. The one on the right was a black background and the yellow got lost altogether. It was these same three colors. So I decided to go for the middle ground and choose a gray base. That's just the smoky slate color from Stamping Up. Any sort of medium gray would work for this. So I'm putting fossilized amber in the middle and the peeled paint on the bottom, just sponging the colors on. They dry kind of like a suede sort of look. And then the top, I believe, is going to be broken china. These were the original Distress Oxide colors. I did this before I even had bought the newer colors. Just had not got the video edited. But I am a very diligent YouTuber. I am editing this video by candlelight tonight because we are out of power. We're on our second day. Probably going to be several more days. We had tornadoes come through here. I took my computer somewhere where they had power and charged it up today. So not only could I work, but I could do some maybe fun things as long as it didn't require the internet here this evening on my computer. Now you can see the three different ones. The very bright one, the one on the black background, the colors came out kind of dull or very muted, and then the gray, which was my happy medium. Now what I'm going to put on top of this is I'm going to be embossing this daisy stamp. It was an old stamp from Stampin' Up! Called Upsy Daisy. When you are working with Distress Oxides, they stay wet for a while. So if you're going to emboss with a different color ink, in this case Versamark and white embossing powder, over top of the Distress Oxides, you have to let the Distress Oxides dry really well, or otherwise the embossing powder is going to stick to that instead, and you're going to have a big mess. So I did, all my backgrounds, and then I came back and did all of the stamping later, after it had plenty of time to dry. You could probably heat set it as well. We're going to get some white embossing powder on there. And I needed quite a few thank you notes, and this was a good quick way to do it with adding some color to this background, going over it with a simple design, and then we're just going to put a simple greeting of thank you very much on it. So we'll heat set this, and I'll fast forward, or actually cut out quite a bit of the heating, but you get the idea. You get the nice pretty white daisies, and then I'm using some brown chalk ink just because it stamps really well, and I have it. I'm trying to use up some of my older inks because I've got a few too many ink pads hanging around my craft room. And what I did was do pretty much all the backgrounds, and then all the stamping, and then all the then all the embossing, and then all of the greetings, and then I put it on the wood grain background, and that's it. So thanks for joining me for this very quick card. For thank you cards, you can do birthday cards, anything with this design.